Welcome everybody to the second series of the day for the winner bracket round 1 for the BOCE, the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. It's going to be Dragon Slayers versus Power Rangers. I'm gonna leave that pronunciation for the Dragon Slayers team in Swedish later on to Mike Loris, but we're HeflaTV, the English coverage for you. I am Coucher and I am joined by the said Mike Loris man. Do you care to take an adventure just pronouncing that name?
Well, I was casting with Blackadder, and he said, I don't know if it was right. He said it was something like Drak. And it seems like that kind of makes sense given its spelling, but it also probably doesn't make sense because that would be too easy. But I don't know. It's too hard. Why do they make their names so hard to pronounce? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it means Dragon Slayer, so I'm just gonna go with that.
God damn it, guys. Oh, well, anyway, it's for more people probably are going to be more familiar with them as Coast because that's pretty much just the Coast lineup under a different name.
Yeah, it's 3/5 of the Coast lineup. I think it's missing like Frigolith, Steph Style. Of course, some of them left a little bit earlier on. Solan, I think, was one as well, but Solan was playing for Lions the game before, so... But it's mostly the ex-Coast lineup. But in any case, Power Rangers, they get their hands on the Tidehunter. Didn't even start with an IO, of course. Not likely that Dragon Slayers are gonna go for the IO themselves. So Power Rangers, if they want to, they still have the space to pick it up.
Yeah, from what I've seen of Drak, they I've only casted one set of them just because of how that group actually shook down on the stream divisions. But they seem to favor the minus armor, so we might be seeing a little bit of a movement towards that, picking up minus armor heroes a little bit more highly, maybe prioritizing Vengeful Spirit, maybe grabbing a TA or something like that. But Power Rangers are going to grab the Tidehunter, so already the Gush is off the table if Drak really want to go down that route. And hey, look at that. I'm spot on.
Well, Power Rangers, of course, picking up the IO as well, but eventually their Titan, like you said, minus armor coming out. Of course, I think, was it them or was it some other team that also went for an axe? In
Oh.
2 games at least? Oh god, I have no idea.
No, that was yesterday. That was Aftershock, right? They had minus armor and then axe.
Aftershock they were winning, but I saw 2 axes lose. Or, never mind, maybe they were Slarders losing? I don't even know by now. Just too many games for the group stages, too many games. Looking at the next set of bands though, Drow and an Ancient Operation banned out by Power Rangers, whereas a Legion Commander and a Gyro by Drak. So just 2 of the heroes that do synergize with the IO, and them going for a Necrophos now as well. So no Necrophos heal IO combination coming out. I guess Witch Doctor might still be a solid one for Power Rangers just as the secondary support. But they go for a Doombringer, so they want to shut down this Necrophos hard.
Yeah, Doom is great at shutting down those single, really dangerous heroes, and Necrophos, I think, is worthy of said counter. I mean, he is just pretty much a one-man army, and he'll have a little bit of help from his allies, but really it's him going to be doing most of the damage. And together with the Elder Titan Aura, it's going to be pretty devastating. Like, Scythe is going to have a lot more potential for just insta-gibbing people once they get to, like, 2/3 health instead of just a half because of the additional damage that it will do. So this is going to hurt quite a bit for the Power Rangers side, but they're also pretty tanky. They have all 3 strength heroes, though IO pretty much shouldn't even be considered one. Doom and Tide are some of the more bulky heroes of the game. Though Drak do have quite a bit of damage, they need a little bit more, and it's going to be for the additional cores where they're going to look to go for that one. Minus armor at this point doesn't really make that much sense, just because Necrophos is almost purely magical.
Well, Elder Titan, of course, will still help in that regard as well, but other than that, I agree. Vengeful Spirit might just be a nice overall pickup, just speeding up the push a little bit with the Vengeance Aura. The swap, of course, as well, and even against the Doom now, the swap won't be a horrible thing to have just because whoever gets doomed, you can maybe swap them back to safety. But now, Drak, 4th pick about to come, and they go for a Timbersaw, and actually meant to bring up the point that IO, he is solely strength for the reason that Timbersaw could blow him up faster. And, well, up against triple strength heroes, 2 of them melee, Timbersaw definitely not a bad choice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Versus Doom and Tide, you're going to be pretty happy with that Timbersaw pick. Minor non-bow in that Timbersaw damage isn't amplified by Elder Titan Aura, but he already does enough damage that you don't really need it to be amplified anymore. That would just be so ridiculously broken if you could amplify Pure as well. But, I mean, Timbersaw and Necrophos, these are 2 heroes that are very much so anti-tank heroes. And Power Rangers, I don't really think they expected to go for just all these really tanky heroes, but I mean, if you're going to get hit with percentage damage, then you're going to really be hurting. So Power Rangers, they also are very damage light right now. Doom can get to a state where he could start smacking things and do a little bit of damage, but right now they're lacking their IO combination. And I don't really know what it is going to be, but most of the IO combos, the ones that are in the game, are strength heroes like Tiny, CK, Bristleback, maybe even the Sven. Power Rangers are walking right into like a grinder that is Timbersaw.
God damn, and of course, not only that, if you're going for a melee kind of carry, Timbersaw's Chakram might just be enough to kite you around as well, especially if he gets the Aghanim Scepter for the double Chakram. I mean, IO Sven can be explosive if that's the combination at all. It might be a support Sven as well at the moment. But if it's a support Sven, I can't say I like it because I think other supports would have been just that much better. Maybe that Witch Doctor we mentioned earlier, or just anything else really. Just get a ranged hero there. But we'll see. Phantom Assassin banned out by Power Rangers themselves. I guess they just don't want to deal with the blur, especially if Sven is just going for the right clicks. Viper taken out by Drak themselves. But what do Drak go for? Do they just go for a heavy hitter now as well, or it will make sense, I think.
Well, right now they know that 3 of the enemy heroes are going to be melee, so picking up small amounts of clustered AoE, heroes like Jakiro, but maybe not necessarily Jakiro, are going to be very useful for the Drak Japar side. They're already very well equipped to deal with this many melee heroes, and someone like a Centaur can do really well against the Power Rangers lineup, just being all the time close to the enemies, and double edge Hoof Stomp gets so much easier to land. So that could be a way that they want to go, but really it doesn't really matter too much. I think just in general they have such a more diverse lineup that they could get away with pretty much anything.
They could even just quite easily go for something like a Medusa as the core, Vengeful Spirit to buff up the damage. Stone Gaze would wreck melee heroes completely. Even if you get doomed, you're still gonna have the mana shield. I mean, if you want to go for a really late game core, that might be it. Split Shot, of course, excellent against melee heroes because they're always gonna be in range for it. And Sven, even if you go for BKB, even if you have the tether extra movement speed, Stone Gaze will still petrify you up and you really might not be able to do anything at all. Oh god, well, whatever they go for, like you said, they're already pretty damn well equipped to deal with Power Rangers. So, I guess it doesn't matter a hell of a lot what they go for, but we shall see.
Ideally, it would be a ranged hero, just so that they could make use of the fact that Power Rangers are very melee heavy, so Drak Japar will be able to win that much more in the lanes. And, well, it's going to be an Ember Spirit. This is a hero that is going to be shut down pretty hard by the Doom, and not like you could really build your entire lineup around that, but now you want to Doom the Timbersaw, Ember Spirit, and Necrophos, so Doom is going to have a little bit of a guessing game there. As far as Ember Spirit versus melee heroes, early on it's okay, and Searing Chains, or the Chains and the Guard, does do quite a bit of damage versus the Power Rangers heroes, since they will most likely be in close quarters. But once you get a Battle Fury and Ember Spirit, that's when things are really going to take off.
God, this Drak Japar lineup looks extremely good at the moment, I do have to say. At least up against what Power Rangers has. I can't even think about the last hero that would be able to turn the tables just draft-wise. And they do go for Chihiro. I guess it's nice for the early pressure on the towers and everything. But they do play, or Chargelaw picks it up. And it's going to be a jungle Doombringer potentially here.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Given the picks, just if you would show someone a picture of the Power Rangers picks, I mean, they don't really have a clear mid lane hero, and they are very melee heavy, so no matter what, their lanes are going to be more on the weak side. Jakiro as just a hero to apply pressure in the lanes, to have a little more presence, I like that in that regard, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really think there was a hero that was able to tie the entire Power Rangers team together. They are able to take this late, I think, and that's probably going to be their best bet, but even if they do, it's going to be up against a late game Necrophos and Ember Spirit. So Power Rangers, they have a very awkward lineup, and it might work out just because all of the heroes are so very tanky, but I don't know if you could rely on just an HP pool to win you the game.
Yeah, especially if that HP pool is going to be reduced by more or less 15% by that whirling death of the Timbersaw. And there's somebody in the toilet, so it's going to be paused for a little while. I guess we can just take this time to go over the lineups. As for Drak Japar, on the Radiant side, Vern playing the Timbersaw, Seal Kid on the Vengeful Spirit, Hanscan on the Elder Titan, leaving Ape Mother to play the Necrophos, and the last one will be standing Cat on the Ember Spirit.
And for Power Rangers, we got Suniko playing the Io. Shachlo is going to be playing the Jakiro with Dichira on the Sven. That leaves Treasure Cat on the Tide Hunter and J4 on the Doom. And these lanes from Power Rangers, I don't know if there's actually a good way for them to lane this. Like, there could be slightly less worse ways of laning it, but I don't really see a way that they could sign these lanes so that they win in any severe way.
I guess just IO tiny mid lane against Ember Spirit might be the best, leaving Chikiro up against what is most likely going to be a Timbersaw off lane. Although, if they go for like IO Sven as a dual lane against Timbersaw, that dual lane is just maybe even going to get crushed completely. I really don't know, I have to agree, just there's not the greatest way to lane this. Maybe they're going to be able to surprise us and just go for something extremely crazy. But they drafted a rather greedy lineup, even more so with this Doombringer being in the jungle as well. God, this game is going to be hard for Power Rangers.
Yeah, and Doom Jungle is something that is not too popular. Generally, it is one of the most passive junglers that you could possibly get, because unlike Enigma or like a Chenchantress or something, Doom can't easily jump out of the jungle and contribute a whole lot. He generally just likes to sit there and devour things, and it's also rather slow as far as junglers are concerned, so I don't expect J4 to have a huge contribution to this game until he gets level 6. That's when you could really get something going. Or if you find a good creep and the enemy top lane overextends, then yeah, sure, you might be able to jump out and surprise them with a net or something like that, but that's about it. So I don't expect J4 to be doing that much, and well, Power Rangers, if their Doom isn't doing that much, I suppose it means late game is where they're going to shine. They're going to try to stack up the jungle, and I think that is at the very least, it's the very least that they could do right now. And I mean, they have so many heroes that can clear it out, and Tidehunter with his Anchor Smash, Cleave, and even Jakiro can clean a stack if he really needs to.
Well, taking this late game is also going to be risky. Double Doom, of course, might just completely turn everything around. But other than that, they're going to have a Necrophos with most likely an Aghanim Scepter somewhere along the line. And late game, that is the item you want to have. I mean, Doom, yes, you can kill a hero with that ultimate, but the hero will have buyback, whereas if you kill a hero with Reaper Scythe, no buyback, and in the late game, it's just more crucial than any other time.
And does do a lot of damage as well when it's being not nullified at all by any magic resistance from Power Rangers. And well, Power Rangers may be getting a little bit of magic resistance down the line, but I don't know if a pipe or anything like that is really going to be in the works for them. So Necrophos' magic damage is going to be uninterrupted, and well, up against just a Tidehunter in the other lane, 8 Mother is going to get pretty much a 1 versus 0 laning phase. Venge and Elder Titan, it's possible to kill off an enemy Tidehunter, although very difficult. Chip damage is not going to work because Tide has so much regeneration, but Sandskin sitting on a haste rune, if ever they kill the Tide, then this is going to be the time to do it. They're going to start with the Magic Missile. They have Heartstopper Aura ticking. Sandskin's going to try to get in the way for a little bit of body blocking. It's not quite going to be enough damage unless they really want to dive this one. I think they could have gotten away with it, but they're going to play it safe.
They would have been just so damn safe. All they needed was, like, I think 2 more right clicks. Just that haste on hand scan. I think they played it way too safe there. Even if one support had died straight after Tidehunter, it would have still been worth it, because you get the XP, you get the first blood, and just gets more or less nothing for it. But they backed off, and now looks like Sealkid's running all the way mid lane just to help out Cat against this dual lane of IO Sven. Should be fine. I mean, Vengeful Spirit, as long as he has the magic missile to make sure that if they go for the stun on Ember Spirit, he stuns up the Sven in return. Sven should be able to, or not Sven, the Ember Spirit should be able to just back off, or maybe even go for counter aggression.
IO Sven to begin with isn't the most strong lane either, so Ember Spirit now with a little bit of help should have this lane more or less on lockdown. The kill potential for Drak certainly is there, and Power Rangers, they can maybe get a kill if they're really lucky, but it is certainly unlikely that that happens. Up on top, it is going to be Wern versus Shochlo in just a 1 versus 1 lane, and it should be pretty easy for both sides. Timbersaw is going to get chipped down pretty bad by the Liquid Fire, but nothing really you can do about that. Cat taking quite a bit of damage in mid, but he'll be just fine. Ditchy landing us Hammer with all the Spirits landing as well is quite a chunk of damage, and Ember Spirit only has a level 1 shield, which is pretty bad defensively.
Yeah, it just gets burned through so damn fast. Bottom lane though, Cat, he's going to be under the constant just harass of that Heartstopper Aura, of course. It's level 1, but it still negates quite a lot of your tangos. And you're going to have to tango anyway, but you get pretty poor regeneration from it. Hands can be double damage. If you can get close enough, it would be fine, but no such luck. They need the magic missile to be there. So we're going to have probably a rather passive laning phase. Maybe a few kills in the mid lane, but don't see any just massive rotations coming out anytime soon.
from anyone, really. I mean, the Elder Titan is pretty bad as in a ganker, and so is the Doom, so I don't think there's going to be much aggression. Tidehunter is probably the most vulnerable one to die, seeing as though, well, he's very close to death right now, and he might actually just be dove. Skull's going to chase him down. That'll be a kill. Yeah, Tidehunter is getting a little bit too close, and that's the beauty of Heartstopper Aura against a really bulky strength hero. 1 point, and it pretty much nullifies all of his tangos. Like, he was using tangos, but they weren't actually giving him any HP. It was keeping him even in HP, and that's not a good situation to be in.
That ability is just crazy strong, to be honest. I mean, your tangos, like you mentioned, just they more or less do nothing for you. And he's going to be struggling under that for the entire laning phase. At least it's only level 1, so I guess that's a positive. And do you think Ape Mother is going to go for more points into it, or is it just Sadist and Death Pulse now?
I think what he has right now is certainly enough. Like, he's nullifying regeneration from the Tidehunter, and Tide is unlikely to get any larger regeneration items later. And even if he does, then you could put another point in Heartstopper Aura in it. So I think going for Sadist at this point is probably going to be a little bit more beneficial to Ape Mother, and it looks like he will put his level 4 skill into that. But yeah, maybe down the line, once Cheshire Cat gets a Ring of Regen or something, then he's going to want to pick up another point in Heartstopper. But for right now, it's doing its job. It's keeping Tidehunter's gold down, pretty much, because if he doesn't buy tangos, then he's just going to die in lane without even being touched.
It's so hard to play against that, and well, Ape Mother, he has picked up a Glass of Haste, didn't finish up the power threat, so that kind of leads me to believe that Hand of Might is incoming on Necrophos. Do you think it's just a decent choice? I mean, I guess Power Rangers, they most likely will not be able to punish it with the lineup that they have. And what do you think of the Midas on the Necrophos?
I actually think Midas on Necrophos is pretty damn good. Like, the faster you get to a level 3 Scythe, the sooner you could, start putting people in those graves. And if you get it even before, like, your level 6 Scythe, then, well, you'll get to level 6 and level 11 a lot faster. And Necrophos does do a lot better with a lot of gold. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty good item. And it's going to come up pretty quickly as well. So, yeah, I think this is pretty good.
Top lane, Timbersaw, not quite level 6, but he's going to get level 6 with one more creep. And that's a smoke from Sealkid and Hanskin. I do believe Power Rangers, they should be calling out both of the supports missing, but Chargelaw, he's so low already as it is. One magic missile is going to be the end of him. Master Spirit first. They want to get the natural order, but Sealkid just isn't fast enough. Or he gets the magic missile, Timber Chain through, and that's the kill.
Man, even with Tranquil Boots on the Jakiro, Sealkid was able to play the angles and was able to land that stun. Cat in the mid lane is going to take a hammer for his troubles. He's dropping very low. They might even dive this. No, Haste Rune on Ember is going to keep him safe. Not having the best time versus this dual lane. Sven is actually getting a lot of CS. In fact, the most CS in the game. That's actually really surprising. Like, I would expect Ape Mother to be on the top, but no, Ditchira is farming very well with this backup from the Io. So they're keeping the Ember Spirit down. They're getting Sven a lot. They are going to need a lot more in the Sven to really get going, but the fact that Sven is doing well and the fact that Doom is being untouched in the jungle means that this early game is going remarkably well for Power Rangers, even though they are 2 kills down.
The craziest thing is that, yes, Sven has quite a lot of lashes, but the complete lack of for the Ember Spirit. I mean, he had the Vengeful Spirit. I guess Vengeful Spirit's range is pretty bad, whereas Io, with the bottle, he can just spam out the spirits and just do damage with those. But still, I wouldn't expect just Sven to triple the lashes of the Ember Spirit in such a matchup. It was a 2-for-2 after all for the majority of it.
Yeah, so Sven doing very well for Power Rangers, and this is the hero that is most important for them to get farm. So it's pretty much nothing but wins there. They're going to start diving on the bottom lane. Cheshire Cat, Saniko waiting for a Ravage. They will use it to interrupt a Stomp. Now he's going to try to go for 8 Mother, taking quite a bit of damage, and he will go down before another Pulse comes back up. Yet Hanskin, with a lot of plus damage, is going to go for Saniko. Here comes Timbersaw. Will miss his chain, but it will not matter because he will get the kill on Saniko regardless. Now chasing down Cheshire Cat. They don't have much disable here, but the Tidehunter's running straight into 2 more Drak heroes, so there's no way Cheshire Cat can get out of this. It's going to be a kill on the Necrophos, which is certainly very nice, but it's super expensive.
It's not worth it by the end for sure. Of course, Necrophos though, his Hand of Midas got delayed by about 30 seconds to a minute by it at least. He was up to like 1.4k gold, I do believe, at that time. But the tree, I do believe it got eaten by the Elder Titan. He used the Tango on the same tree that the Timber Chain would have landed on. So a little bit unfortunate there, but in the end, they get the kills anyway.
Right, and Drak, they're getting a good amount of farm on Timbersaw. It's really the levels that you need on that hero, so even though Sven might be getting quite a bit of farm, it's just going to mean that the Heartstopper Aura is going to be doing more, that the Timbersaw is going to be doing more, and Cheshire Cat on the bottom lane, he's not facing up against the Scythe just yet, but just a little bit of poking here and there, and he's already dropping very low, although it's going to be mid lane where Ditchira is going to finally claim a kill. Vengeful Spirit Just getting a little bit too close to Sven, and that is never where you want to be.
And top lane as well, Shakira in the meantime takes out the tier 1 tower. Go, Catcat got stunned up, the spirits coming in, and the right clicks will be enough. So Power Rangers, they are finding some momentum at least in the mid lane here. So Neiko, he hit level 6 now as well. So Relocate is ready, they might even go for Ape Mother, just Shakcat being there with a few anchor smashes to help out. Necrophos, really not the hardest kill, especially since he's going for the Hand of Midas, which means no strength items, no nothing to just help with the survivability. So Power Rangers not doing all that bad, but still this Timbersaw having farm is a worry. Going for the Blast Zone as well by the looks of it, Soul Ring picked up, but there's the Relocate, bottom lane. They're going to find Handscan, but Ape Mother should be the target for them. They stun up Handscan, Ape Mother so low as it is, gonna get some Neiko, yes he is. So he gets the counter and 50 seconds IO on the sidelines thanks to the Reaper scythe, but still Sven gets 2 kills.
I mean, that is nice to get the scythe on the IO, but yeah, the Sven getting the kills is the worst case scenario there. Now he has enough gold to pick up a Blink Dagger. I mean, the Elder Titan is the hero that you really want in those scenarios because Echo Stomp, with the obvious location of the Relocate, is going to be very easy to land. If it does land, you could usually get out of there alive, but he was stunned right before he was able to finish that. And then everyone from Power Rangers just quickly collapsed, and this is pretty much just the Sven and IO doing everything for Power Rangers. So now that Tichira has a Blink Dagger, he doesn't even need the IO's help, and it's going to be just him causing even more fights. And now that the Doom is level 6, it's going to conveniently line up such that the Sven and Doom are able to get kills on pretty much whoever they decide to jump on.
And Chikiro has rotated bottom as well, going for the Dual Scepter and not a horrible amount away from it. Handscan harassed a little bit, but Sealkin comes in with Burn. There's the Ancestor Spirit or Astral Spirit just. Wow, okay. Just Natural Order, even level 2 is plenty, but Sealkin is going to get stunned up by Tichara. Even pops the God Strength. Can they go for more Ice Path on cooldown? They need just 1 stun, but they're not even going to get that unless Tichara wants to blink under the tower.
Yeah, they're going to use the rest of the God Strength just to push the wave. It's going to be a 1-for-1 down on bottom, and Cheshire Cat Tidehunter is having the least fun out of all these heroes, but I mean, as good as the Timbersaw is at pushing, if he gets a little bit too close, then the Spirit Balls and the Jakiro damage is going to be just enough. Seal Kid's going to teleport in, looking for a stun onto Chacho. Unfortunately, he's 3 experience away from a swap, and if he had that, then that almost for sure would have been a kill on Jakiro, but unfortunately, Venge is in the wrong place at the wrong time, doesn't have quite enough experience. Now Doom off to the side, looking for initiation. It's going to be Ditchy to jump forward for a hammer. Will not hit onto Wern, so it won't be a double, but it'll just be Handskin going down, which is also pretty nice for Power Rangers. They're going to claim that one and then just go straight for the rest of this tower. And Drak, they're going to make a retreat out. They're not going to bother defending.
That was way too close to not being a double, to be honest. I thought it's going to be as well, Vern. He got there, I mean, the last split second, I think, the Timber Chain away. If it had been a standout J4, I think it would have been immediate Doom follow-up and a kill. But they do smoke up, TP into the mid lane. Shakiro, well, the smoke, I guess, not going to do anything for him. Although he's still hiding, trying to set things up. It's just an illusion he's chasing, though. Nice illusion micro, just dragging the creep wave away. But they don't have a Shakiro for themselves, so their push isn't all that fast.
Yeah, that's really not what Draktarpar's lineup is supposed to do. They're meant to kill heroes, and that's about it. Any buildings that are going to fall from Power Rangers are just going to be after effects of a poor team fight, and we're going to see a big team fight over in the mid lane. Ravage is in place with a Relocate in. Seal Kid is almost doomed to fall. Yeah, Hammer is going to hit him, and he's going to go down. There is no Ravage used just yet, but they don't really need it. Where's the Jakiro? He's right here, actually. With Liquid Fire on the tower, it's going to fall extremely quickly, and with Cheshire Cat, the sheer threat of the Ravage is sometimes more threatening than the spell itself. Draktarpar are going to be unwilling to make a defense just because the enemy team has a Ravage, and they're scared of that.
And with this tower going down, that's Hand of Midas for J4 as well on the Doombringer. He had decent enough farm as it is before, but now with the Devour maxed and the Midas, it's just going to start taking off, and he's only 700 behind both the Timbersaw and the Necrophos. So although Drak, they got off to a pretty damn good start on most of their lanes, they haven't been able to really capitalize on it, or rather Power Rangers, with just the IO, Sven doing good in the wind lane, doing well there, they were able to just start helping out other lanes as well.
And really, like, the kills that Draktarpar have been getting are just Tidehunter and IO, and these are pretty much the heroes that Power Rangers want to go down if anyone is to die at all. Like, IO is level 6, he's fine. He's not going to need any gold to make any huge leaps forward, and as long as Tidehunter has a Ravage available to him, then he's going to be fine dying a couple times as well. Obviously, you want a Blink Dagger, but you could delay that for a very long time as long as you have a Sven with the Blink Dagger. They have enough initiation, so Draktarpar, they got a couple kills, but they're definitely going to need a lot more. This should be the time where Timbersaw is just running everywhere and killing everything. And he does have 3 kills to his name, which is pretty good, but it just certainly doesn't feel like enough.
It definitely does not at the moment. I mean, well, Timbersaw, I mean, I guess he's gonna have to be just a mid-game just tempo maker for Drak. Just because Necrophos going for the Hand of Midas, which also got delayed by at least by like 2-3 minutes by the 2 deaths that he has. Although up to 1.8k gold now. Does he also go for a mech for their team, or what does the Necrophos go into now?
I mean, you do have a lot of flexibility with Necrophos. I personally am a big fan of the Route of Atos build, though I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up a Blink Dagger right now either, just to have that in order to escape the likes of a Doom who's charging in or something like that. So I would expect either one of those items. We do see Cat in Viz, and he's going to be stalking Sneeko and Ditchy. This Ember Spirit has also not been doing that much for Drak. He's been getting pretty much no farm. He has his drums, but no phase boots just yet. So it's going to be a very long time until he's relevant. And even with an Invis rune, he can't find anyone. But it's the smoke on bottom lane where they're going to find 8 Mother. There's a Yule Scepter on Jakiro. And now 8 Mother is going to get swapped out by Seal Kid, however. This might be the Necrophos surviving. Although, nope, not with the relocate. Ditchy is going to make short work of that Necrophos. And that's going to be 2 kills for Power Rangers.
I mean, the idea was nice, the attempt for the swap, but the relocate, it came out far enough to the bottom side that they were ready to intercept that swap. A little bit unfortunate for Drak, but that just happened, and Power Rangers, they're going for a Roshan now as well. They have the Liquid Fire to slow things down. Even the Gush for the minus armor, it's not a lot, but any little helps. Ditchara tanks it up, Warcry not even necessary for the time being. He uses it now though, just as I say that. It's not the fastest Roshan, but it's going to go down rather safely because Drak, they're just not in any position to contest.
So this gold is going to give Io enough to finish off the mech, which is going to be a pretty big ticket item there. There's going to be enough gold on Sven to take the second part of what I assume is going to be a BKB with his Ogre Club, and Drak, they're just way too far away. They're going to throw an Earth Splitter and Eletitan Spirit into this one, do quite a bit of damage to everyone, but not enough damage to anyone. Sven's going to grab a double life, and well, now the Eletitan doesn't have his ultimate up. He's going to get jumped upon by Ditchy, popping the Warcry to charge forward. Ice Path right on the edge. Going to connect on the Handskin. Still, the Eletitan is very tanky. He will get himself a little bit more space. Here comes Cat with Haste Rune. Going to try to chase down Soft Shield. However, Yule Scepter is going to keep the Dragon safe. Stomp is going to land onto Sven. Here comes the Timbersaw, but Macropyre is going to delay any chase forward. And there's just a couple traded hits back and forth. But now the Power Rangers have the double Aegis. They were contested a little bit. Their Jakiro has Tranquils and Yule Scepter, so he'll be up full very soon. I could see Power Rangers going for a push now because, again, they still have the threat of Ravage.
It's just so hard to go up against Ravage. Cat is trying to farm up his Blink Dagger as well, and it's going to be pretty slow, to be honest. So at least the Tidehunter hasn't had the best of games. Necrophos does pick up the Blink as well. I would have preferred your favorite just item build, I guess, the Rod of Atos, just because it gives you that little bit of extra tank, which makes you maybe being able to survive the Doom. And not only that, just slowing down that Sven with the Rod of Atos while he's trying to come at you or come at anybody. I guess when he goes for BKB, it's not going to be that impactful, but you're not going to have the BKB active all the time.
Yeah, so Necrophos will have this one, and I'm sure there will be one of those intelligence items coming a little bit down the line. Really, the Blink Dagger is nice sometimes, but since Jakiro has a Yule Scepter, that's a pretty nice counter to a Blink Dagger on 8 Mother. Like, Jakiro can just run in and get the Blink, or get the Cyclone on the Necrophos. Of course, not going to happen just right yet, but it will happen eventually. So that Blink Dagger is going to sometimes just be completely useless to that Necrophos. And, well, it's not a great way to spend your gold if it's not going to be giving you that escape. And Initiation really not that strong either as Necrophos. So it's a fine item, but he really needs something else to complement it before it really gets going.
Yeah, I have to agree. And oh, there is a smoke coming out. Cat with the Invis almost was there to break it immediately. It does break. They're going to go for Ditchara. Where's the IO? He's going to relocate him out. Yes, he's back to safety. Cat, his Invis is going to wear off as well. Are they going to come back, Cat? I don't think he can buy enough time here. Vern finds him, gets that Chakram through. But J4 comes in as well on the Doombringer. Going to use the Doom onto Vern. Relocate back from the backlines. They're going to stun up 8 Mother. There's the Ravage going to catch 2 Vern. A definite kill on the Timber, so I think Remnant out by the Ember Spirit. Echo Stomp used to buy some time, but 2 heroes down. Oh, Yule Scepter as well, Ice Path, Macropyre to follow, Handscan, no escape, Blink from Ditchara, Stormhammer as well in the Macropyre, he burns. Double kill, Seal Kit, can they stop it? Level def, he doesn't have enough mana for it.
Now, very luckily, the Vengeance Spirit gets to get out of there, but Power Rangers, they have all the time to set up, like, in the world. If you relocate defensively like that, you could either make the call, okay, Sneeko, you're going to die, and that's the life of the IO, or you could bring everyone in, and they decided to bring everyone in, and man, it was the correct decision. Drak in those types of positions, the Timbersaw really doesn't want to leave because there's so many trees around. He's able to do whatever he wants, but the fight isn't done quite yet. Seal Kid's going to swap out the Timbersaw, and it looks like it's only going to be Cat to charge forward. The tower will go down, however, and it looks like that should be a clean disengage for Power Rangers. They're going to try to chase forward Drak, but they don't have a swap anymore, and as good as chasing, actually, Timbersaw is going to get a very long chain. Maybe Chacho is in a little bit of trouble here, but even if the Jakiro goes down, like, it's only a Jakiro for a massively one team fight from Power Rangers, plus a tier 2 tower. So it's quite a reasonable trade as far as that is concerned. And Power Rangers, they decided to make a great team fight happen, and now they're just going to get even bigger and bigger. They're going to randomly pop God's Strength over towards the mid lane for some reason, but they still have the Aegis on Ditchira, so they don't have a Ravage, but they can still go for pushing.
I think they were farming off the enemy Ancients. I'm not too sure how many stacks there were, but still some nice farm, taking out the enemy stacks. Of course, Tractor finally going to get the tier 1, but they might lose the tier 2 as J4 runs into Hanskin, doesn't want to doom him up, wants a higher priority target for it, but they get the tier 2 down anyway. Elder Titan, is he going for a pipe at the moment? He might be. I mean, it's not going to be a horrible item, not the greatest maybe either, just because he's not going to have it for a really long time.
Maybe if he does get it, he'll protect himself a little bit against this Ravage and the Jakiro damage, but it's not even going to be like a huge increase in power for him once he does get that item up. Usually the build that I've seen from Elder Titan is the Yule Scepter. I think it's a little bit too expensive for this game. You have to go for some sort of budget build since the Elder Titan as a support generally doesn't get that much farm anyway. And you really need to get something if you're going to get going. Oh, Seal Kid up towards top, trying to TP out. But unfortunately, Ditchira is right on top of him. However, there's an Ember Spirit here. Just Nico teleporting in by himself is going to kill off the Venge. Now they're going to try to chase down Cat. He should have a guard. Yeah, he does have a Remnant out, and he will jump to it to safety. But now Nico is going to bring the Sven. No, he won't go to the bottom lane. Thought he was going down there. But Chacho, in the meantime, desperately wishes he had a Sven to back him up because he is in not a great position. He will blink over the Spirit. And it looks like he might just be fine. In fact, baiting for a Doom who's going to charge right in with Cheshire Cat. That's a Doom onto Wern. And he does have a Bloodstone, so he's really tanky. Ravage, though, on Cheshire Cat's going to connect onto 3. 8 Mother is in the area, but he doesn't have a Scythe target. Wern dropping very low, will be brought down. Scythe now onto J4, will not be lethal. In fact, he will even escape from that one. 8 Mother and Hanskin still getting chased down by Schlotch, though. And Cheshire Cat both. Ice Path, Level Death will delay Hanskin. And now the Elder Titan stuck in a corner will be going down. Here comes Nico, going to lend a little bit more damage with the Spirits to kill off the Necrophos. And now Cat's here as well, but he's very quickly going to be all alone as Hanskin actually still alive somehow. Is going to die eventually. Cat, he'll land some chains onto Cheshire Cat, will end up killing off the Doom in the end. But now he's awkwardly stuck here, has a swap out maybe from Seal Kid, but if he actually uses that swap, they might just both go down right now. And yes, as promised, Seal Kid swapping into an Ice Path is going to get himself dead. And now Cheshire Cat blinking forward for an Anchor Smash. Everyone from Drak is going to go down. It took a hell of a long time, but that was even Power Rangers fighting without their Sven. So it was a pretty clean fight from them, and only losing the Doom for 4 heroes certainly is worth it. 5 heroes, rather.
They're also going to get the tier 2 just because Liquid Fire is that strong. Cheshire Cat wants to go for a Wern, but without the Doom, don't think they can kill him. But look at his Bloodstone charges. He is down to 4. And how long has he had the Bloodstone? For like 2-3 minutes maybe now? It's just, you cannot allow yourself to die on the Timbersaw when you get those Bloodstone charges, especially if your team is behind as well. They have so many just kind of momentum-based heroes, although their late game is still strong. Natural Order plus Sleight of Fist does a ridiculous amount of damage. But this Ember Spirit, he's not even too close to that first Battle Fury, he only has the Claymore.
By 20 minutes, you want to be having your Battle Fury or be very close to it, like, you know, avoid Stone Away or something like that. But only one sword, definitely not quite going to cut it, as on the other end, Sven already has a crit up with a BKB and Helm of the Dominator, I suppose, for value. I mean, it gives you armor, I guess. It gives you a little bit of lifesteal. Usually it's Mask of Madness, but I guess the Sven wants to play it a little bit safer, and why not play it a little bit safer? You're already facing up against Natural Order. You might as well bulk up when you can. Top lane, J4 is going to feel comfortable enough going into 2 heroes, but here comes Ditchira and Sneeko. They're going to make short work of Wern. Even fewer Bloodstone charges now. Going after 8 Mother. And he does have a TP, but good luck getting out of this one. He will go down. It's going to be Sneeko grabbing an unstoppable streak. This IO is actually getting really stacked, and soon it's going to be Sneeko with the Bloodstone. And I think he probably will have more charges than the Timbersaw.
He most likely will. Seal Kid gonna get thrown up in the air by and use up the Macro Fire. Ice Path to follow Cheshire Cat with the Gush maxed out. Well, Cat, does he really want to go for anything when he's attempting to? Does he have a Remnant behind? Hanskin comes in as well. Gonna be a beautiful Earth Splitter. Both of them got caught, and J4 gonna go down. Cheshire has to pop his ultimate and might lose his life as well, but J4 gonna come in. Remnants, not gonna be enough. There's the Doom. Not the Doom, just level death. Echo Stomp post used handscan. Does he really want to keep on going? But all in all, not a bad engagement getting a Jakiro, but that shearing change into that Earth Splitter, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it pretty much doesn't get any better than that, and also even better still because the relocate was previously used by the IO, so Ditchira could not come into that fight, and if the Sven was able to join with the relocate, it would have been Drak just absolutely getting smashed. So there was, you know, a good opening there for Drak, and they actually make something happen. And well, the Ember Spirit's gonna be pretty happy about that pickup. Now gonna try to go for J4. Stomp is there from the Doom, but Cat doesn't really want to chase this. Only has one Remnant available, and he will not be able to make that kill happen. Now he's a little bit closer to his Battle Fury, but still is it going to be enough because top lane, Ditchira and Sneeko, they see Wern, God's Strength, blink forward, and lots of damage onto this Timber Saw. Timber Chain out, try to TP halfway. Will not happen. Ditchira's going to cut him down. Man, this Sven is getting just disgustingly big. 8, 0, and 7. And it's going to be a Daedalus? Yes, it is going to be a Daedalus.
That's exactly what you need from a Sven as well, especially if it's supported by an IO. IO, of course, makes Sven that much stronger, not only for the relocate, giving him mana for the Stormhammers, and the extra movement speed, and of course attack speed as well with the overcharge. So IO Sven combination, if it gets rolling, it is filthy strong, and it gets to that explosive stage way earlier than a Tiny Woo, just because Sven, he doesn't need to build into that Aghanim Scepter. He's strong without that already. And all they're demonstrating just that. They have destroyed all the outer towers, so just having the Jakiro to back up their push is also excellent. Going for the Throat of Athos by the looks of it on Jakiro. Just tank up a little bit, get some extra intelligence. Helm of Dominator even on Sven. Oh god.
Relocate and Hanskin has a TP, and actually Sneeko is blocking Ditchira. So they might actually not get this kill. Sneeko actually taking quite a bit of damage. It's going to be a Scythe onto the IO, and now suddenly Ditchira is here all alone. Does not have God Strength either. He just has to run. There is even a swap if he gets a little bit too far away. Has a Daedalus, but still no God Strength, so he can't actually turn around and fight effectively. BKB is going to wear out, and he's still being chased down. Ditchira is going to die. A little bit of a misplay from that IO. You can't really afford to get in the way of your Sven like that.
That was a pretty huge misplay as well. Looking at the fight recap, that was about a 4 and 4.8k just net worth gold swing, 6k in XP as well. That was only 2 kills, and not only that, IO, of course, he was down for like 90 seconds, I do believe. Suddenly, Aghanim Scepter finished straight off for the Necrophos. Level 13, so not yet quite 16, but with those kills, definitely a lot closer to it. Power Rangers, don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference if they just normally group up and go for proper plays now, but if they make a couple more mistakes as such, suddenly Drak, they're gonna have their free cores just reasonably farmed. Ember Spirit has the first Battle Fury as well. So that was just a silly mistake, really.
Take a quick look at the stream. Make sure that's back up because it doesn't seem to be working on my end. I don't know.
It's down on my end. I mean, OBS is fine, not dropping any frames, hasn't disconnected or anything yet. Hitbox is black. I'm not too sure if that's like Hitbox's issue or what. Because it's perfectly fine for me.
Maybe we should just restart it just in case, because not seem to be working for anyone else.
I'm gonna do that then. Might be down for another 2 minutes then, but just better safe than sorry. So
they can't hear us anyway.
Once again, and recording is still going, so all is fine.
Yeah, people on the VODs are gonna get rewarded, and well, it's going to be not much happening. Hopefully, while the stream delay starts kicking in, Roshan is going to be just chopped to pieces by this Sven. Level 3 God Strength online, plus 200 damage, or plus 200% damage rather. So he's gonna be hitting like a truck, and now has a double life. So next time Sneeko blocks him off, the Sven will be able to just keep on fighting, assuming he does have God Strength. And as far as other items on Power Rangers, there is an Atos now on the Jakiro, and almost a Refresh Orb on Cheshire Cat. He is dangerously close to that item. And I think he does have enough mana to refresh, and it's going to be just short of refresh and double ravage, but I think he will be able to get it out most of the time. It's going to be Shotchel in the bottom lane to get jumped, and there is no way for him to survive right now.
So, they get yet another kill for themselves. Drak, they are completely fine with just delaying things out. But looking at the graphs, it's still about a 15k net worth and XP lead. So, wow, and that's gonna be Shiva's Card on Doombringer, Refresher Orb on the Tidehunter, 2 just huge ticket items, and it's only 27 minutes in for the Refresher as well. This double Ravage, do we have any BKBs at all on Drak? None. So, yeah, good luck for them just fighting into Power Rangers now.
Yeah, the Shiva's Guard generally a pretty standard item on Doom. Don't really mind it that much this game, although I think Assault Cuirass might be a little bit better with an Elder Titan on the other end. Regardless, it's going to be Doom, who's going to be super disruptive. Like, first of all, his Doom has always been hitting onto the Timbersaw, who has been the most dangerous hero, or the potentially most dangerous hero for Power Rangers, so there's that. And then also, you know, shutting down the Ember Spirit just a little bit more with that aura, plus with that Arctic Blast. This Doom is going to be absolutely terrifying. And Drak Japar, they do have their level 2 Reaper Scythe up with Aghanim, so there's always a possibility that they catch someone out with the Timbersaw, drop him down to half, and then finish him with the Necrophos, and then maybe they just avoid a fight. But Power Rangers, they have the double Ravage, they have still the Aegis on the Sven. They're going to be pushing mid and bottom at the exact same time, and Drak Japar, I don't really know if they could take either of these fights, since no matter which way they go, they're going to be fighting up against a Sven with God Strength and a lot of items.
This Sven is just so damn scary. If he gets next to somebody, he hasn't been able to just blow somebody up for quite some time, ever since that last death on him. Or the only death on him. And in this game, I don't think we've had anybody without a single death. Yes, everybody has died, so not gonna be one of those magical games where just one hero completely goes berserk and just unkillable. Although it's still pretty hard to kill them. Now Timbersaw gets a BKB as well, a necessary item, although if you get doomed, you can't do anything either. And I think maybe Necrophos might be even the best Doom target at the moment. I mean, either him or Timbersaw probably.
Yeah, I think you could probably argue either one. I mean, denying the Reaper Scythe, if you could get that to happen, then that's huge. Otherwise, you know, Death Pulses, they're certainly going to add up, but it's probably more worth it to Doom the Timbersaw. At any rate, it's still Power Rangers with Liquid Fire. Just Digiraw on the front lines, tanking tower shots because he knows he has Sneeko right behind him with the mech for that double heal, and they're going to force fortification. Maybe Drak Japar are going to get a tower up on top, and yes, they will, but it's going to be a tier 2 for a tier 3. And I don't think it's just going to be a tier 3 either, because Digiraw has still yet to pop his God Strength, has still an Aegis in tow, and they're just going to slowly chip down these racks. And Digiraw might end up losing his Aegis right now. Magic Missile not doing too much, as the heal from Sneeko going to keep Digiraw at about half HP. And he's just not losing anything right now. Warney doesn't have a good angle for Timber Chain, and they're going to plow down the Raxes and then relocate out to the base.
What was that?
You got to get your Bloodstone, man, so that when this fight happens, you could actually fight things.
But that's just half the duration of God's Strength, completely wasted. They might go in with the Ravages. Nope, Doom onto Cut. They get the Rax anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter that much in the end, but wasn't the cleanest of plays, just God's Strength completely wasted.
Hey, I mean, they got their axes. They didn't even need God Strength, so that's fine. They're going to try to chase forward Drak Japar, but the Timbersaw ends up getting thrown into the air, then walks into some ice. Ember Spirit's going to try to close the distance, but as mobile as he is, he's not going to make it happen. Maybe they didn't need to use the God Strength there, but Sachso is once again going to be the casualty. Just like on the last push up on top, he's going to be the only person to die, unless Sneeko gets a little bit too close as well. Has a tether target, so he will be able to get out of there. Yeah, it was very weird sequencing, but nothing really happened afterwards, so you can't really fault them too much.
So that's your Rax advantage for Power Rangers. Should be enough for them to just go get themselves another Rax as well. They still have the Aegis for another, 25 seconds or so. Power Rangers, they might get hit just as the Aegis expires now. Drak, they're looking for a pretty damn perfect timing, to be honest, if they get it now. Tichara blinks in aggressively to farm up Jessica. Still has the double Ravage though, so that's what Drak has to be afraid of. Ape Mother still under the effects of that smoke, and J4 gonna run into Seal Kit, might get Reaper Scythe though, never mind, he's alive. Pops that Arctic Blast. Sleight of Fist doesn't do nearly enough, but there's J4, never mind, healed up by Sneeko. For a second I thought they might get the kill. Reaper Scythe just barely missing the kill. He does go down. There's Ravage number 1, catches 2. Ravage number 2 is waiting for it. Should have popped it immediately to get the kill on Ember Spirit, but they get the Vengeful at least. So support for support, but Bloodstone charge is lost.
No Bloodstone charges, but at least for the IO, he wasn't actually killed by the Scythe. He died afterwards, so he will be able to buy back if need be, or he will respawn pretty quickly. And Ape Mother is actually all alone. Why is Ape Mother here? What was the plan?
Go push tier 2 Necrophos, best pusher, just 2014, I don't know. Oh wow, that was definitely way too greedy. I mean, they got a reasonable fight for themselves. Although, for a second I thought J4 might be the one who just gets Reaper Scythed. He dropped so damn low just from Timbersaw's one combination. But the mech coming through from the IO kept him high enough. And that's a satanic finish to Sven.
Man, that is a pretty dangerous item, mostly because Sven will never die now. He doesn't have an Aegis anymore, but like, good luck killing this guy once, let alone twice. And pretty much the Satanic equals another another life, except for if he gets Scythe, which is always a possibility. But Ichira doesn't really have any damage on him except for this Daedalus, and he doesn't even need it just because he has Overcharge, so he doesn't actually have to go for a straight Assault Cuirass or a Mask of Madness. He will have all the attack speed he could possibly want, and well, Power Rangers, they still have one Ravage now. I think they're still powerful enough to try to go for this, even though they are not at their strongest. This time they have no Aegis, no double Ravage. Dichira is actually going to get swapped pretty deeply in, is going to get the BKB off, now going to try to go for Steel Kid with the God Strength popped. 2 hits is going to kill off the Venge. Now the Doom onto Wern, and he's going to get Blink Pun by Dichira. A couple of hits is going to make short work of him as well. That's 2 kills for Power Rangers. Instant buyback from the Timbersaw. This time there's no Doom available, so they will be able to fight with their Timbersaw at full strength. However, is it going to be enough? Dichira still is going to get hit with a pretty large amount of damage. We'll get Scythe. That is a crap ton of damage. Level 3 with the Aura is going to bring him down. Now they're going to try to chase forward for more heroes. J4 and Sneeko, both very weak, get hit with the Stomp previously, so they couldn't escape, and now they're both going to take a fall in the exact same time. Shishikat getting chased down by Handskin. With a lot of damage on this Elder Titan, they will maybe be able to bring down this Tide. No, he will blink out just safe and sound, and now Jakiro also is going to escape. But Drak, they actually make a pretty decent defense, though it does cost them a buyback on the Timbersaw. They end up getting 3 in exchange, which is probably the best case they could have hoped for.
It's definitely a pretty damn good fight for Drak at the moment. Just getting them some breathing space, maybe. Whoa, Tidehunter, he almost goes down. The Ice Path stays him for a little while, gets the blink out just before the Sleight of Fist. That Tidehunter kill would have been huge. That would have meant no buyback on him. Sven down for 60 seconds. If they would have had 2 heroes down for so long, might have even been counter-racks, although Drak still, they don't have the fastest push themselves. And Power Rangers, they just chased a little bit too far. Tidehunter wasn't able to use the Ravage at all or anything in that fight. Also, Sven was forced to use that Satanic rather early on, and then afterwards, no escape for him. But I think Power Rangers, they always kind of play like that. They get a win somewhere, then go a little bit sloppy, but if they get punished but not punished enough, they're just going to come back and play properly once again for a couple of minutes at the very least. So I think once the next Aegis comes, just maybe get Aegis and then go for a safe racks, although it's still another 2.5 minutes away. It's almost the max respawn time.
It's a little bit unfortunate for Power Rangers in that regard. Sometimes the game just doesn't cooperate with you, but at least for this next push, they'll have double Ravage, as previously they only had 1. Maybe that's why they decided not to fully commit, but I mean, the Doom was also a very important skill. It is a very important skill for Power Rangers, and it was used, and then the Timbersaw just bought back, so it was certainly very effective in that regard, but you really need it to be on the Timbersaw so that you could actually deny him his skills. So Power Rangers next time, maybe they'll be able to get a Ravage off, just 1, maybe they'll have an Aegis, and Timbersaw will most certainly not have a buyback. So I expect the next fight to be a little bit better for Power Rangers, unless J4 gets swapped back, and he will, right into a Cyclone. He's going to get chained up by Cat. Double damage rune on this Ember, but there is reinforcement coming. Cat with 1 Ravage, going to connect onto 3. Scythe is going to kill off J4 in the meantime, though, but here comes Dichira. Relocated in is going to make short work of 2 heroes. Now they're going to try to go for this Necrophos. BK beat up. I don't know if he can get himself enough space, though. Blink forward from this Sven. He's going to land a couple hits, so there's no blink for 8 Mother. He's going to get chased down. Ice Path misses, but it doesn't matter because Dichira is going to walk away from this fight with a triple kill. Necrophos does have buyback, and I think he might actually have to use it. Unfortunately for Power Rangers, they're in the wrong lane right now, as this is the lane that Aractus is already down in. The Roshan not quite up yet, and it's going to be most likely mid lane where they set their sights, but Ember Spirit Timbersaw, I don't really know if this is going to be enough to defend.
It's going to be hard for sure, but Necrophos, if he buys back, it might be. I mean, Sleight of Fist, he has the Daedalus as well, so might be able to just clear off the creep waves fast enough. Although even if he does, Liquid Fire will still be there. And Dichira, no God Strength, but the Overcharge will be there. Glyph comes out pretty much immediately. They didn't even, well, they paused, but they unpaused just because Doom, he's dead anyway. And it says he has dieback. Didn't he die to the Reaper's Scythe?
I think he did.
Maybe it's just bugged. I don't know.
Yeah.
In any case,
sure
that's tier 3 down, and they are backing off. I mean, although the free off track weren't that scary, once they add Natural Order to that, it's not the best of fights for Power Rangers. Plus, just wait for the Doom to come back and go for another fight when you actually have the Doom available. But even though Tidehunter, or not the Tidehunter, the Doombringer got jumped like that and Drak got the initiation, it was still a good fight for Power Rangers just because Relocate is that damn powerful.
Especially in this type of area where you just have like a whole bunch of narrow corridors, that's when the cleave from Sven is going to really do some serious work. And everyone died too quickly, so I couldn't see if the cleaves actually were doing anything, but I'm assuming a couple people got hit with the cleave here and there from the Power Rangers side. Their Doom is going to quickly respawn, and then by the time he does come back, it's going to be a Roshan fight. Power Rangers will have one Ravage for this, but I think this is pretty much Drak best chance at bringing this game back. If they take a decent Roshan fight, get a Scythe onto someone like Sven, they can get themselves back into a good position.
Well, to be honest, it's just a few things that Drak, or few things that need to go correct for them. And in the last fight, he got the cleave on, I do believe, the first 2 kills. So the cleave did something at least, and it's just such a huge percentage. 65, just straight off the bat. No items, no nothing necessary, no battle furies, no empowers from a Magnus or anything. And he has a haste rune as well. Just like at farming up the ancients, going for a Shiva's card of his own. If he gets the Shiva's card finished, that's going to be double Shivas, double Ravage. There's going to be probably a double Doom somewhere coming out from the Doombringer as well if this goes long enough. Although looking at the net worth chart, all in all, the 3 cores of Drak, they have surpassed the majority of Power Rangers at least. It's just the Vengeful Spirit who is so far behind. Oh my god. Just sad Seal Kid.
0, 10, 7. It's a little bit worse than the Venomancer from earlier, but yeah, the cores of Drak actually have a remarkable amount of gold. Like, Ember Spirit found a Daedalus, I guess it's on the floor. He now has that item, and Necrophos has been working for a Hand of Midas for quite a long time, so his farm is not too surprising, but Drak, most of their damage, with the exception of the Ember Spirit, is going to come out just from their skills alone, so a lot of it is going to depend on when and where they take these fights. So a lot of tankiness in the Necrophos is very nice. Same thing for the Timbersaw, but it's not really going to compare to a God Strength, which is a fantastic scaling skill. And while Power Rangers, they're back in this game. This is, as I said, probably the best chance for Drak to make something happen. But even if they don't, like, they're not as far behind as it really seems, just because of the amount of farm their cores are getting. Even though the gold advantage is still like 15k plus in Power Rangers' favor, it's mostly just because their supports have more, and that could sometimes make the difference. But even if Vengeful Spirit had a whole bunch of items, I don't think it would change how Drak are playing this game. So there is that to consider.
And one fact, IO does have less Bloodstone charges than the Timbersaw. 6 versus
what
8.
A scrub. What a noob, IO. You gotta get them kills, man.
Timbersaw, his PKB is down to only 9 seconds as well, so still a pretty damn long duration there. And IO, he started with 8, while at the same time I think Timbersaw was sitting at 1 still when Sonico picked up his own Bloodstone. Of course, IO, even with the Bloodstone, although he has 2k HP, he doesn't survive for that long, especially against the Timbersaw. But J4, he's back, he's ready, as our Drak. So we're gonna get this game unpaused, and just next Roche fight might be the biggest fight and might just decide the game as well. Looking at the buybacks, only the Necrophos has it for Drak.
And that's a pretty bad scenario to be in. Power Rangers, ideally, like on paper, for Drak, none of them have buyback because of the Necrophos, but of course you can't really depend on that. Dichira is now stuck between a whole bunch of heroes and Roshan, never really where you want to be. Maybe Drak are going to think that there's no buyback on the Doom because Power Rangers paused while the Doom still had a lot of timer to come back from, although it might have been the Scythe that was just bugged out, who knows. Either way, Power Rangers, they're going to be split pushing up towards top with Dichira and Sonico, while the rest of Drak are trying to defend. This is going to force people to come back, and though it won't be complete Raxing, it is going to force 2 heroes from Drak to be away from this Roshan pit, and just like that, Dichira back into the Roshan pit, this time with the help of Sonico and Shachlo. And they're going to make short work of Roshan, and Drak, I mean, Blue and Teal are going to try to come back, but it's way too late. Already the Aegis claimed 8 Mother is going to get critted down really low, and oh my god, 8 Mother didn't get anything out. Like, he literally got no skills out, and Sven just critted him down like 2 hits. Blue and Teal, they're now in this fight, but they have to get the hell out. Necrophos is going to buy into this game, but Dichira still chasing forward. No God Strength available anymore. The Power Rangers take Roshan, and they take a 3-for-0 trade, plus they force a buyback from Necro.
Yeah, they got the tier 3 as well down from before. Oh god, what a fight. And just that Ravage stopping Drak from following up. Refresher Orb of cooldown just now as well. J4 blinks in aggressively, gets the War Stomp. Don't think there's going to be follow-up, or is there Stormhammer? It's going to catch him. The Yule Scepter is there, trying to buy some time. No, what? Relocate out at the same time. They're going for Vern instead, who has a PKB, trying to escape on the Timbersaw. Probably will do so with a Timber Chain. Mid lane, J4 drops low, going to go down again to the Reaper Scythe. This time around, there's definitely no buyback for him. Dicharado has the Aegis, can still go for Rax. 3 seconds for the God Strength as well. Shashlo comes in, no Yule Scepter, but there's the Blink Ravage, catches free. Nice blink out by 8 Mother, but it doesn't matter too much. Dichara, he goes down to a 1500 crit. My god, he had buyback, but Ape Mother, he won't if he dies now. And that's a dieback from the Necrophos. Double kill. And BKB from Dichara keeps him safe. There's really not too much we're fighting for Drak anymore.
Yeah, they're just getting one shot, literally, by Dichara. Ember Spirit can still do a lot of damage, but, you know, Doom just end the game, guys. Power Rangers are still only working with one set of Raxes up, but they're pretty much fountain farming Drak Japar at this point. God Strength is going to run out, also has the VS minus Aura on him. And, well, maybe not completely two sets of Raxes, although it certainly does seem like it's Nico and Dichara going to get hit with a Stomp. Ember Spirit doing quite a bit of damage. Dichara is still in the area, though, still with the Daedalus, even without God Strength. Mid lane is going to be cleaned up by the Tide Hunter. Now is going to move up towards top. No Doombringer in this game, but even 4v5, Power Rangers going to finish this game. And now Drak Japar, they're facing up against Megas. Even though Ember Spirit with Battle Fury is one of the best heroes you could possibly want at dealing with Megas, it's just not going to be enough. I don't see any way for them to come back into this game.
There really won't be any either. They can delay this out, but winning, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Dichara, Satanic, he just suddenly back to full HP. Of course, Soneko was helping out as well, but there's the stun out to Cut. They're going to get the Ember. He has buyback, going to be forced out immediately. Hanscan, he's going to go down without a buyback on that Elder Titan. And oh, how much can they do? I don't know why they're even struggling.
It's just Power Rangers, they just got to pad their score. So they're very happy about this. There's a lot of gold on Sven, 11,000. And yeah, he's going to kill Seal Kid in 3 hits and almost kill off Warren with this cleaved crit. That's a victory screen you want to see. Sven buying back at 5.
Going down with style. So really well played by Power Rangers. Drak, they got off to a pretty good start, but unable to hold on to it. The IO Sven just, once they got their core levels, got off to a little bit too good of a start, I guess. But just them getting the core levels, they relocate and starting to set up kills everywhere, alleviating the pressure on the other lanes as well. So extremely well played, Power Rangers. Take the 1-game victory, but it is a best of 3 series, and Drak definitely just didn't go down without a fight. So they will have a chance to come back in game number 2 in this series, guys. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Do hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can always follow us. All the links are below the stream. It's HeflaTV everywhere anyway, pretty much. It's, if you want to follow the casters personally, @Coucher for me, @MikeLawrence for my co-caster, and just see you guys for game number 2.